All right, moving on to the health and PPD portion of orientation, okay? So, if you will pull out your next part of the packet that looks like this, um, so it's a blank sheet of paper that says Employee Emergency Contact Form. If you will ensure that you fill that out completely and include the employee name, the department that you're going to be in, your emergency contact information, and any kind of medical information for us. All right. The next part that you should be filling out is it says here, fill out only if you want to, and if you have a severe allergy. So that is the employee health sheet. You'll fill that out next, and ensure that you are putting your name, your address, allergies, and ensure that you do have emergency contact if you have an allergy. All right, the next one is your hepatitis B vaccination, and then it looks like this. So if you will get this sheet out here, and it's important that you fill out your name, the date, and employee declination to receive a Hep B vaccination. So it says, do not give here, must go to doctor or health department. So the original copy of this consent form must be filed in the employee's medical record. So if you'll just get that part filled out. The next one is the spill procedures. I'm about to lose my stuff over here. Whoops. Spill procedures. So if you will get this paper out here, and so this tells you what to do if there is a biohazard spill. So there can be any kind of a spill that is kind of like dangerous. Maybe it's something that's very alkalinic, which is it can actually burn you, or it might be too acidic. And so what you'll need to do is to understand what happens if that was to occur. So if you do have a spill, then you need to make sure, first and foremost, you need to keep the residents safe, and also the other staff. So you need to make sure that everybody realizes, hey, there's a spill here, don't get in this area. And then you need to find the emergency cleanup packet, and it's called ECP packet, and you need to sprinkle that whole entire pouch of ECP packet evenly over the spill, starting from the outer edges and then working into the center. Wait for the gel to occur, because you know you're pouring this stuff, but then the gel occurs later on. So make sure you wait. It's about 2 minutes, and then you use the spatulas to scoop up that gel and then put it in that first disposal bag from that kit. Then you'll have to discard the spatulas in a disposable bag. You'll need to close the first bag with a twist tie, open the first seal bag into the second bag, open the germicidal cloth and thoroughly wipe down contaminated area, discard now into the second bag, and then the surface will be left mist with visible droplets of germicide. Allow surface to air dry approximately about 10 minutes. Close the second disposable with the twist tie and then place in the red bag. Okay? You'll have safety data sheets, and so that's called SDS, and so the SDS sheets are chemical products and company identification for the products that we use in the building. They tell us the composition information of all of the ingredients, and also will tell you all of the measures that you can take for first aid, firefighting measures, accidental release measures, handling and storage, stability and reactivity, toxicological information such as carcinogenicity, ecological information, disposal considerations, transport information, regulatory information, and other information on specific products that we use here in the facility. And if you need to find out where they're at, and they're always going to be in the nurse's station, in the laundry room, and you can always find them in the dietary department. You use them anytime that there has been a chemical that's been splashed or spilled. And then in order to know how to use them, you'll need to follow the directions that's on that sheet. And it depends on what kind of the issue is. Is it somebody's eyes? All that information will be there. And then if you don't know what to do, even after you have found everything and you don't know what else to, where else to look, then you just need to call poison control. And if you have eye wash indications where someone got it in their eye, then you need to take them to the eye wash station. It's in the kitchen break room nurses station, 400 hall nurses station, and in the chemical room. So if you'll just sign that piece of paper there saying that you understand that. Next, we have the dress code. The dress code is specific for every department, and here at Conover we do like to have people that are dressed appropriately, meaning color coded. And so we want family members and other staff members to know what department that we're working in. And just know that it is definitely the policy here that we should be following a dress code. Fridays are dress down day, and you may wear blue jeans, but don't wear any holes in your blue jeans. So then you need to find out what color your pants are supposed to be for the nursing departments. Black pants, CNA, royal blue pants, and for the nurse aid and training, it is the khaki pants with the lime green top. All right, dietary is black pants as well. Housekeeping is red, navy pants, and any color top. Okay. And when it comes to PTO rules of use, PTO benefits only apply to employees who work a minimum of 30 hours or more a week. Except in the instance of illness, all PTO must be scheduled in advance with your manager or supervisor. Every effort will be made to grant your request for a PTO anytime that you desire, but your PTO cannot interfere with your department's operation. Therefore, it must be approved by your manager. So what I like to tell everybody is that number one, your PTO cannot be used for unexcused absences. And number two, before you go on any kind of vacation, you need to put your PTO time in first. And then wait to see if it's approved, because we can't approve for everybody to be off on the 4th of July. We wouldn't have nobody in the building. So first come, first serve, okay? And also when it comes to in-services, there might be times whenever the DON needs to request for you guys to come in, and in that situation, it would be considered an absence if you are not here. And everybody is required to do their healthcare academy, and this has to be completed before November 15th of every year. And if you don't do it, then you might lose your bonus. So there is your employee's name and date, and if you will sign that, we will move on to the next thing. All right, so the next portion of orientation, we will start with emergency things that we need to let you guys know about. And the first one is a missing resident policy. So anytime that we don't have a resident in their room and we don't know where they are at, we need to begin a staff search immediately. And so if the resident is not located, then the search will begin to branch out. So in other words, if you have Mr. John Doe and he's not in his room, then you start looking on the other halls, and if he's not in the halls, then you start looking outside. You start looking in the dining room. Just keep branching out. So we only have 30 minutes to search for a resident before we have to then call the administrator and the director of nursing. And even on after hours or weekends, the nursing administrator and the facility administrator will have to be contacted to return to the facility so they can search. A senior management staff member will also immediately notify the residents responsible party, and we will also call the DFS. All right, you'll sign that saying that you understand. The next one is your employee tuberculosis screening. So that's this one right here, and that just says that you do not have any kind of tuberculosis symptoms, and you just need to answer these in full, read all of the questions, and then you will get a PPD. You will also get a drug screen, and you will also have your hands washed. Actually, you will have your hands being washed. Excuse me. Say it one more time. You will have someone to watch you wash your hands to ensure that you understand. Just remember, you're supposed to wash your hands for at least 20 to 30 seconds. And make sure that you clean under your nails as well. If you'll just sign that paper. The next one is the fire procedure here. So in the event that we have a fire, we do have a really quick way, and that is RACE, and that is rescue, alarm, contain, extinguish. And if you will just sign there at the bottom of that sheet, saying that you understand what RACE means. And then you move on to the inclement weather policy, and so it's one sheet there. And so what this says is that you must be here in the event that there is bad weather. This means that you need to be sure that you have set everything up to where if you have children, that they have a place or someone that can watch them, because your responsibility is to this building and to these residents while there is bad weather, because residents still need to be taken care of whether the roads are bad or not, or whether there is a tornado or not. So ensure that you have made those steps, because there's zero tolerance. You have to be here. And so what we do is when we feel like there might be a weekend or a few days where there's bad weather, so we invite you to come here, and you can stay the night here. Just bring your scrubs, and you are welcome to stay here. But if you're not working, you don't get paid for that, so make sure you read that on here. And so what a lot of people will do is they'll come here before the roads get bad, and they know the roads are going to be bad, and they'll just hang out. But they're not getting on the clock now. So severe weather, when it comes to a tornado watch, it's not something that means that our residents have to be moved or anything done, but it's just saying be careful and get to watching the windows. But now if you have a tornado warning, that's something different. The National Weather Service issues a tornado warning when the tornado has been sighted. So that means there's one in this area, and that means that we need to protect our residents from imminent danger. So the first thing you want to do is pull down all of the window shades, and you want to get residents into the halls, and doors needs to be shut at that point. Okay, just make sure that you're calm. Make sure that you take care of the residents while they're outside. It's okay to take somebody to the bathroom. They don't have to sit and wait. Make sure you give them snacks, sing to them, keep them happy, keep their activities moving. And if there's any kind of a power outage, that's a different emergency. Just make sure that if there's a power outage, that things are plugged into the red plug-in areas. So there's a red outlet in every single room, and that red outlet is where you'd plug their oxygen tank, their bed mattress, any kind of CPAP machine that they might need while they're sleeping, because that generator is hooked up to that red area. Okay, so that is important for that. Make sure you sign that sheet, drug-free workplace. If you will sign saying that you understand that you can be tested anytime, especially if there's some kind of an accident or something. We will drug test you before you are allowed to come to this facility, and also anytime that we want to randomly. And we can also do it anytime that you have had an accident. Make sure that you do report accidents because you do need to tell us so we can get you to our doctor, because it's paid for by our doctor. So make sure that you tell us before you go home, because once you've gone home, a lot of things can happen. So this has got to be reported the exact day that it happened, so you will get what you need to get, whether that be a doctor's appointment or at least screened. The next piece of paper is dementia care. So this is going to let you know how to take care of residents who have dementia, since we are a facility that does specialize in dementia patients. We don't have a memory unit though, but what we do is we're very conscientious of our body language, because when a resident is sitting down in a chair and they have to look up at somebody, it's a little bit intimidating just in that position alone. So it's important for you to get down on their level and look at them in their face and talk to them, not screaming. They don't want to hear you screaming, but they want to hear you kind of say their name slowly, distinctly, but also in a calm manner that's reassuring. Make sure that you don't cross your arms. Watch your body language. You do that, it makes them scared. It makes them feel like they're on the defense. Also, make sure that you, if someone can't see, that you read to them. Make sure that if they can't hear, that you get close up to them, or make sure that their hearing aids are in. All these things causes them to be agitated. If they're a little frustrated, if they can't see things, if they can't hear things, it makes them go on the defense, okay? Don't take things personally. If somebody has dementia and they call you a horrible name, maybe that's in regards to your race, regards to your color, even regards to your weight. I had somebody the other day that said, "You're old. I'm 92 years old and you're older than me." That was funny. And I'm sure I would get my feelings hurt if that was somebody else. But when it comes to dementia patients, they don't know. And we cannot, for any reason, believe that they do know. They have dementia, just like having brain damage. They're not in their right mind. So please don't take things like that personal, because if we get personal, then what may happen is when we get personal, then we may become on the defense, and then we may start being a little hateful and say, "Listen, don't say that to me." And we don't want to do that. That's not right. So if sometimes it's good to just give them a few minutes, even like 45 minutes. Sometimes, but we still have to provide care. So don't leave them so long and say, "Well, the reason why I'm leaving you this long is because I'm letting you just rest, be by yourself for a little while," because that's abuse. We don't want to neglect our residents. We just don't want them to feel too agitated. So sometimes it's good just to give them a minute. Sometimes it's good to get them out of the crowd. If they are having an episode where they are becoming very combative and mean, first thing you need to do is keep all the other residents safe. So leave them where they're at, but move all the residents away from them. And that way they're not hurting anybody's. It's always important to approach them from the front, so not to startle them. And then try to keep them on a normal routine. And if you have to, just call for help. Don't try to be a hero and do it all by yourself. But the main thing is to keep your residents safe, okay? And that is the education that you're going to sign on dementia care, okay? The next one and the last one in this category is employee pre-screening for chickenpox, varicella. And it says, have you ever had chickenpox, or have you ever had the vaccination? And so that's that sign, okay? All right, so now we will move on to the next one.